You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible.
Our brother Roland is still in Ghana, and we have a connection with him now. So now, let's go out to Roland Martin in Ghana.
Hey, Ray Baker, glad to see you, man. We are here. This is now day 3 or day 4. Okay, got left December 19th, day 23rd. Okay, fine, it's day 4. Here in Ghana, year of return. I actually have run into a number of fans of the show, folks from the United States, from Canada, from the UK, brothers and sisters from all over the place. And so that's what we have been seeing now. I'm going to play some video for you guys. Here's a video of yesterday when we took a canoe ride from Cape Coast slave dungeon to Elmina slave dungeon. Very few people take this ride, and so we wanted to just show you some of that experience. All right, folks, it's been really an unbelievable experience. We're putting together actually 2-hour special Roland Martin Unfiltered. Just some amazing stuff that we've gotten here. Joining me right now is Sheena Meade. Of course, you've seen Sheena on the show before. Activist out of Florida, her and her husband Desmond Meade, leaders behind Amendment 4. And so, Sheena, you hit me up about doing this, coming with you guys. It was fun. Just so far, your thoughts? This is your first time, right?
It's my first time touching motherland. You know, the original thought about coming is like, because we work so hard, you work so hard, like us trying to educate and liberate our people and fight, and we thought we needed a sabbatical retreat to connect with God and our ancestors, and the connection is something I could never have imagined. I'm trying not to get emotional and let my eyelashes fall off on this TV screen because I know all your millions of viewers are watching. But even tonight, it's just been a missing piece of history that is missing from our education system back in the States. Our people just don't know. I feel like when you know where you come from, you know where you're going. And I definitely have clear direction more on my purpose, what we need to do as a people, as Black people, how we help our motherland here. And it just feels good to be home. Like when you go home, you feel good, you feel safe, you feel secure, you feel good. And that's how I feel right now. I feel like I'm home. And I just can't wait for my children. I just can't wait to come back and talk about it more. And I'm so excited that you've been able to even broadcast this experience. At first, to be honest, the transparent, I was like a little trouble because the cameras and talking about it. But then I thought about the world needs to see what they are missing. We've been just whitewashed what's happening here in our motherland, our continent. And I'm thankful for sharing with the world what we're experiencing, because people need to come back home and experience this. I am so surprised at the amount of people that have actually came home with their children. Today, leaving the hotel, we saw a couple that was at the Rabbi's restaurant, and they were from Toronto. And he said, it feels good to be able to be here and not be worried about getting shot by the cops for my children. And that hit me. And I'm just wondering, like, we got changes to make at home, and so I'm just honored to be here, looking for more of the experience. My spirit's been open and my eyes have been awake. Like my eyes has opened and my spirit has been awake.
Now, where we are, folks, we're here in Kamasa. We just had a spiritual experience here. One of the faith leaders here. We're gonna have Dahlia, who's with God Box, who's explain step on. Come on. So tell the folks who are watching exactly what we just finished here. First of all, folks, I live streamed it on Periscope, but also on my Facebook page. It's a longer video on the Facebook page. Go to the Facebook page. You can check out the video But tell folks exactly what we just experienced here.
So we experienced a traditional ceremony where the priest and his priestesses get into the spirit, and then they pretty much call us on to come in and do a dance with him and to connect with him and to take us back to our roots, which is very essential because this is exactly where we come from. So this is a very important event for all of us and for our brothers and sisters that are coming home. And for the God Box tours, it's extremely important that we let our brothers and sisters experience these things.
So there are a lot of people who are doing tours, people who want to come to the God and return. Y'all have put together something different that is a very clearly defined spiritual tour as opposed to just coming to see God.
Exactly. That's very important because without the reconciliation, without the reconnection, there's no point in just coming back to see because there's something happened historically, something happened, and we need to reconcile. We need to bring the brothers and sisters back together so that we can begin this process of healing and that's pretty much.
Now, you're from where in the United States?
I was born in Oakland, but my parents are from
Hey, but you've been here for how long?
10 years.
10
but
years.
off and on all my life, but I've been living here permanently.
Okay. Well, look, it has been certainly great. Today was, I don't think you can describe going to the river where slaves. So basically, folks, again, when y'all see the video, we posted some of it on social media. So put my Instagram page, Facebook page, and my Twitter account. I can't wait till you actually see the special we're putting together. And so when the enslaved Africans were captured in northern Ghana, they were literally marched and changed 300 miles. 300 miles. And they went to this place where they took their last bath of freedom. They would take the bath, they would be branded and sold, then march another 31 miles to Cape Coast Castle. And the crazy thing is that, in talking to the tour guide, many of you know Dr. Naeem Akbar. So in 2005, his group was here. And what we did was we just simply went to the edge of the water and just put our hands in the water and then washed our hands. When Dr. Naeem Akbar's were here, they actually went into the water, and one of their people came up with one of the balls and chains that was attached to one of the enslaved Africans. Okay, let me explain it to y'all again. Hundreds of years after these enslaved Africans went into that water, clearly a slave died in that water. And then once their body essentially withered away, the chains came off of their body. And so when Dr. Akbar's people were here in 2005, they actually hit one of those balls and chains. And they gave it to the place there. And then we actually tried to photo up some video of it. And they have it in a box. First of all, I can't wait to call Dr. Akbar, find out what that was like to literally step in that water and one of the people hits a ball and chain that one of the enslaved Africans literally was attached to.
I mean, when we were at the water, it was so peaceful and the water was flowing and tears just rolled down all of our eyes. It was just troubling to know that our ancestors were dying there. The last bath.
And in fact, across the water, our guide also said we hit a whole area of bamboo. Essentially, for those who couldn't make it, they would just dump their bodies over there. They told me that area has never been excavated. Yeah. So the area has not been touched. He said it will never be touched. They will never go over there to excavate to see if there are any bones there. He said it has not been touched since those slaves were marched through there.
A lot of history here. I mean, it's not in our books. It's not in our educational books back home. We're not talking about. But what I've learned on this trip, a lot of things that we do at home are actually traditions that came over. And so,
this was a drum line from HBCU right here.
Not even that. It was church. The sound, and think the age. I'm thinking about the things that we used to laugh at our grandmothers. That we used to say, "Oh, that's what are you doing?" Now to know the significance of it, and I feel almost like a pride that my grandmother was passing it on to us. She didn't know, but now we know. And this is what the year of return is. It's about knowing where you come from, knowing the traditions, the symbolic. And so I'm definitely gonna make sure that bring that back home.
And I'll say this, the last point. A friend of mine, she sent me a photo. It said, really enjoying your coverage from Ghana. And she's actually on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. And the thing is, there are any number of people who go on the pilgrimage to the Holy Land. And they literally retrace the steps from biblical days where Jesus walked as well. Well, this is actually living history where you're walking and you're retracing those steps. And as somebody who loves history, it really makes it all come alive because you're now understanding. And it goes way beyond just what we were taught, what we really were not taught in schools. And so I think that's what's also important. So again, I hope you've been enjoying our coverage. We've shot some amazing stuff, had some amazing conversations. I can't wait to share more of it with you. So tomorrow, what are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're doing a tour of Kumasi, so we're going to the Yasantua Military Museum, we're going to the Santihini's Palace, we're going to the largest West African market, where they're going to be able to shop and do all that, interact with the sellers, and then we might come back here with some more consultation.
All right, folks. So again, we're here at Kumasi, Ghana. We certainly appreciate everybody who's watching Roland Martin on the Field. Be sure to share and like. On YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter as well. Share it, folks, far and wide. And we're actually running into people who've been looking at our coverage as people who hit me earlier and say, hey, I'm going to be there tomorrow. In fact, when we were at the river, I ran to Pastor Amos Brown out of NAACP board member, fellow Alpha out of the Bay Area. And what was crazy is that he hit me 2 days ago, saying on his way to Accra, and he was there with his children, his wife, and his family. And they were singing. I think Liberty Voice was singing. They were singing it, and so I didn't even realize. I knew they were bad parents. Before I see Amos, I'm like, "Oh, Amos, what's up?" And so again, there'll be a lot of people we'll be running into over the next several days. We'll be at Kumasi today, tomorrow, and back to Accra on Wednesday. So, Ray Baker, we'll toss it back to you.
That stuff is so vital. It's so important. And it's so heavy, and we're excited that you're doing it, and we're looking forward to what the longer presentation will be. And I want to encourage, as you said, all of your viewers right now to go to your social media page so they can see everything that you're documenting in real time as it's happening. And man, we just can't wait for you to get back and put together the longer special. We're really grateful for your work, Roland.
Appreciate it.
We're going to go now to our panel. Joining us on the panel is political analyst Dr. Avis Jones-DeWeaver on Skype. And here in studio, we also have Dr. Cleo Monago, also a political analyst, and Derek Holly, host of Reaching America On Demand podcast. Cleo, I was talking to you before the show started, and you were telling all of us about your time and experience, because you've also made that trip. You also shared how vulnerable that trip can make a person. Will you let the viewers know about how touching and spiritual that experience was for you?
Well, as I told you, brothers, I tend not to be a really emotional, dramatic person, particularly in public. I tend to be very, relatively stoic and in control. But when I went to the Cape Coast dungeon, some people call them castles, some people call them dungeons. I think dungeons is the most appropriate description of the place. To be honest, right before, there's a hill that you go up before you get to the dungeons, and I saw the ocean. It was vast. And I got emotional when I saw the ocean because I knew what happened in that ocean. And a lot of what Roland just mentioned is what happened in that ocean. And I was, kept my calm. Then we went to the actual Cape Coast Castle, and I walked onto the grounds, and I fell on the ground and went into a fetal position, and my body got cold, and I started crying and shivering. Didn't expect that. That ain't me. And a sister named Marimba Ani, who wrote Yurugu, in case some of you want to know who she is, was watching me as if she knew, okay, let me, just, yeah. And then her and another sister came and picked me up and took me away. And I was like, I couldn't believe that I was doing this. And also Naim Akbar, Dr. Naim Akbar was there. But one of the highlights of it, and there were many, was seeing King Osei Tutu. We always hear about Queen Elizabeth and her court and her children and her in-laws. But there are African kings who have bloodlines older than the kings and queens in Britain. And King Osei Tutu, which I hope Roland gets a chance to meet, is the king of the Ashanti Kingdom, which is in the western region of Ghana, who's a real king with a court, and I mean, he got Benzes and what's that other B car that's really big and expensive? Bentley, all that. He's a real king. I mean, the whole queen. Yeah. And we saw that, and I was very emotional because you would think that was not the case because we didn't hear about it. But I'll close with the fact that we went to Cape Coast, Kamasi, Amina. But what was interesting about what Roland just showed me, which I was impressed with, is that they took a boat from Cape Coast to Elmina. We didn't do that. We took a bus. If we'd have gotten that water and took that trip from one slave dinner to another, I think I probably would have fell out in the ocean. So I'm glad that maybe it's a good idea I didn't do that. But it's a wonderful thing that all black people and Africans should do.
I want to go to Dr. Avis for just a quick second on this. Dr. Avis, particularly with your experience as a political analyst and understanding the ways in which Americans learn and process information, how vital is this, would you say? How vital is this, not just to black Americans, as Cleo ultimately said, but to all Americans because of the impact that black Americans, which ostensibly means Ghanaians, have on American culture?
I didn't say all Americans. I said all Africans.
Well, it's definitely important that we have a more full understanding of the history of African Americans in terms of all that led up to that slave experience and really what that meant. We get, quite frankly, a very whitewashed depiction of it through the history books in this country. Yep. And I, too, was fortunate enough to be able to spend some time in Ghana and to be able to spend time on Cape Coast and also visit the river that Roland was just mentioning. And I have to agree with my brother there that it's an educational experience, absolutely. But it's also an emotional experience and a spiritual experience. And, I am someone who, I kind of describe myself almost like my natural tendency is to be a Spock-like, very logical person, but when you're in that space, the spiritual reality of that connects with you. You can feel the pain, the emotion, the sorrow, the hurt that took place in those spaces that were bathed in cruelty and evil. And you really have to be there to really get the full sense of what I'm talking about. So I just want to echo what Roland mentioned a few minutes ago. This is a pilgrimage that every African descendant throughout the diaspora needs to take. Because you need to know from whence you came. And you need to connect with it not only intellectually by reading about it in books. You need to connect with it spiritually by being on the land, by stepping your feet in the water, by taking those steps that your ancestors took so that you can feel what your ancestors felt and be able to connect with them throughout the spiritual connection that we all share with the universe.
That's impactful words, impactful. And I hope that all of the listeners and viewers truly take to heed what is being said. Particularly, I would just like to opine that we have two folks who are esteemed PhDs who themselves describe as left brain rationalists, talking about being overcome with the spiritual and emotional experience of being there. I think that's a good place to leave that particular point of our conversation.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, as the marijuana momentum continues, our folks at marijuanastock.org have already reached more than half of their funding goal for the hemp CBD investment. So if you want to take advantage, you better get in now. Of course, hemp is a cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana, but it won't get you high. Scott is sad. Now, folks, if you don't know, hemp farming is now legal in the U.S., creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. It's an investment opportunity for you and the full folks at 420 Real Estate have a simple business model. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed high-paying tenants, people like Chris. They are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. Now, all you got to do is invest as little as $200. Monique, you got that. in the crowdfunding campaign up to $10,000. Amisha, some of that Sinclair money. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game and get in the game now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.